ain't getting nothing for free.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy, The Business, coming back at you live for episode 24 of The Business. Let's be real. Tonight, I wanted to kind of somewhat do a follow-up. I know I had done in previous episodes, part 1 and 2 of The Life of the Business, and really wanted to try to continue on that, not put too much separation between those episodes, and thought that this would be a good time to try to get back to that with part 3. So, I did celebrate birthday this week, number 44. Much appreciate my family and friends, everybody who reached out. Want to, do a personal shout out to everyone and really appreciate everyone for coming out and checking in with me on my birthday. It was a great day. Had so much fun with the family and, look forward to another one. So appreciate you all. Like I said, I'm going to run with episode 3 of The Life of the Business, part 3, episode 24, The Business. Let's be real. Starts now. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to The Business. Let's be real, episode 24. This is The Life of the Business, part 3. Super excited to be able to share this with you guys as well. This kind of will touch into some of what it was like for me from the age of 20 through 30. Kind of just giving you a heads up and telling you what it is that I've been through and some of my life, some of the places I've been, some of the jobs I worked during that time. And just, kind of had some influencers and some people really talk to me and try to push me in the right direction. But, the way it turned out is you'll find out here shortly, So I kind of first want to tap into when I was just turning 20. I was back in Lorain then at this time, was trying to figure out some things, was able to get with a young lady and, we were together at the time and I really didn't have much focus at this time. I was kind of just trying to figure out what it was that I was trying to do or become. High school was over, had been just kind of somewhat, as you want to call, like living off the land kind of thing. It wasn't, like I was out working hard and doing my thing. I was kind of just, running with some people and just taking care of business the way I shouldn't be doing. And, found myself at 20, still with no kind of direction, made our way from Lorain, ended up moving out to Vermilion with this young lady and her family at the time. And then, I was out in Vermilion for, like a year or so and still wasn't working or doing much. Really was just kind of living life and didn't really, try to push in any direction as of yet. And then moved to Elyria. And in Elyria is when I first kind of got a job, and I got a job at Spencer's Gifts. And I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys remember Spencer's Gifts at the Elyria at the Midway Mall there. And was happy to have that job. Like, knew it was a cool little place, a little trendy place, and was known for all the different things you could find there. And during Halloween season, you could go there and get like the coolest masks around. And such a cool place. Was really excited to work there. Started to make my way somewhat up there. I wasn't I didn't stay the low guy on the totem pole. I was working my way up, met some really great people there. The manager there was awesome. Jeff was a really cool guy. And he was trying to push for me to get more like out of what I was doing. He could see that I wasn't, strict about the way I did things. He knew that I had, that I could work when I wanted to. But for the most part, I just kind of got by and did what I needed to. And that was hard for somebody like him who kind of saw what I was capable of and wanted to see kind of more out of me. And so I started to kind of somewhat find a little bit of direction. Then I started to get a little work ethic while I was there, and saw that it was possible for me to work hard and move up the ladder. And yeah, they ended up moving him. And when they moved him, I kind of lost my hunger for that place, and, ended up leaving them and really didn't have anything to fall back on at that time, and just went back into just hanging out and chilling, and it really wasn't any direction again, no focus on anything. And yeah, we moved around in the area a little bit. I ended up getting a job then after that at an engineering company out there in Amherst, and really cool little office. They had a bunch of super smart people in there that I worked with. And they did telecommunications engineering. They did all the cool boxes that you guys see on the side of the roads that nobody knows what they are, but that's what they did. They did all the wiring inside of those and made everything possible for what we have. So yeah, I was there for a little while, and then met a different young lady that was in the accounting department, and just kind of hit it off with her, was good, good friends with her. And it turned into something that it really shouldn't have. And, the whole time I still had this other young lady at the house, and just kind of had no real, like I said, direction or, care at that time about anyone or anything. So I kind of just did whatever I wanted to, and ended up getting myself into a relationship with this other young lady. And it went a lot further than what it should have, and ended up ruining the relationship I was in. And after getting into that relationship, I ended up leaving the engineering office and kind of find myself somewhere that I had never really truly been before, and was out now, away from all my people, kind of far on the outskirts of Elyria, and then ended up even leaving there and making my way out past Oberlin in this little hiccup of a town called Kipton. And those of you that are from Kipton, no disrespect, man, much love for that little place. But yeah, it was a tiny place, really just one little strip of road with a couple of strips off of it with some houses on it. Didn't really even, I don't think they even had a flashing light there. I think they had a stop sign on the main road, one of them. And this was one of those places that if you blinked, you missed it. And this was true about Kipton. So no disrespect to how small it is. Some pretty cool people out there that I was able to meet as well. Met up with the rest of the young lady's family, all the Lombardos, and was able to meet Rob Krieger and those guys. Much respect for Rob, much respect for, his family and what they were able to do. Him and Jess, love them, love the kids, much respect for them. And yeah, went out there and kind of met some cool people. Started working at Discount Drug Mart then at this time. And I don't know if too many of you guys remember that, but on the way to Oberlin, if you went out to Oberlin, there was lots of country out there. And then there was this one Discount Drug Mart that was on a random corner in the middle of all the fields out there. So it was kind of funny. But a lot of people went there because it was the one local store to all these country folk that lived out that way. And, got a job there working in the pharmacy and became a pharmacy technician, and knew I was going to like that job because of the fact that I grew up in a family where my dad was, a surgical RN my whole life, and pretty much was around the business. So I knew if I ever had any questions about anything, I knew I could always call on him, and he would always have the answer, like he did for 99.9% of things that I've gone through and been through, he's always had the answer for me. So yeah, I appreciate that guy too. I want to say thank you. Love you, Dad. Happy birthday to you. I know you're out there. Cheers to you, my man. And yeah, I went into this job and was really, like I said, passionate about this job, enjoyed it. Had a cool crew of women there that all looked out for me. They were all like aunts to me, and you know what I mean, looked out for me and taught me the business, and you know, taught me how to work the computers and how to read the doctor's handwritings, and you know, I mean, literally, I learned as much from them as I could because of the fact that they were all like, you know, good at what they did, and they enjoyed having me around because I was like a little sponge at the time. I was just trying to learn and trying to do the best that I can to prove to them too, and they appreciated that. Now, while there, the young lady that I was dating at the time, she started working there as well, and we were kind of, you know, let me put that up there. The wifey puts Gia loves my cup. Gia sugar. I got a little swag from my kids for my birthday this week. Gia got me this cool cup with you know, with her and Gavin on the background and me on the front. Appreciate it. Got this cool hat from Gavin. Says GTG number one dad, and on the front side of it says coach. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're trying to do is just, you know, be life coaches to them and help them out through it all, and you know, show them how much we love them. So I appreciate you, Gia. I love you. Glad you like my cup. And Gavin, I know you like the hat. So yeah, at this time, like I said, we were both working at the same place. She was working in the pharmacy department as well, and just really wasn't liking it too much. She just felt like it wasn't her. So she ended up leaving it, but really didn't have nothing else to go to. So she was kind of chilling at the time, and I was covering everything really with what I was making. I wasn't making much, and had to pay, you know, her parents to stay there, and we had to pay for the car that we were driving, and yeah, and it seemed weird at that time for me to just be the only one trying to do my thing, but I knew that I had put that burden on other people before, so I felt like it was kind of me paying it forward kind of thing. So yeah, I end up introducing this young lady now to my family and my mother and father, and you know, my mom's pretty upfront with me about my life and the way I am, and she's always been the one to kind of support me and also check me in the same way, and love that woman for that, because you know, she's one of the few people that can, because you know, I've been a bullhead ever since I was a little kid. So, you know, appreciate her as well. And was happy to, yeah, you know, listen to what she had to say to me. She didn't think that those things were going to work out. At that time, my parents kind of left. And when they did leave, they left an open-ended kind of option for me. You know, my dad knew I wasn't in the best of places. She knew that at that time as well, my mom. And she knew that it was just a matter of time before, you know, I needed to change what I was doing. So then at that time, like I said, I was still working as a pharmacy technician. I had gone back and forth with the pharmacist there, because there was two pharmacists there when I first started, and then the one gentleman left to open up another place just down the road, but for like way further into the city of Lorain. And the pharmacist that was there was the head, and Bill was an awesome pharmacist there. And he kind of pulled me aside one day and really, like, you know, try to push me in a direction. He was like, "Tone, listen, you have picked this up very well. You know, this industry, you can, you know what I mean? People believe you when you talk, and if you really have the knowledge and the schooling behind you, you can go a long way in this. And I was like, oh, you know, and I didn't think much of it. And he was like, listen, if you ever think that, you know, you want to become a pharmacist, like, I would back you. I would write a letter of recommendation for you. And I was very surprised about this because this gentleman was, I mean, his IQ was up there. It was crazy. This guy was so smart. It was crazy. And for him to think this about me, that I could be in a field that he's in, you know what I'm saying? Like, that spoke volumes to me. That let me really know that there was something more that I could do with it. And, you know, so at that time, things were getting shaky for me at home. I did then make a phone call to my parents, talk to my pops, kind of told them what my plan was at that time, that I needed to make my way back to Florida and try to get into school and try to get it, you know, man, into working into the industry and move forward with that and kind of go in that direction, because that was what I felt like I needed to do at that time. And he knew that the situation for me at home wasn't very good. And I just felt like that was what I needed to do at that time in order to, you know, get out of that situation as well. It was like, to take a step truly forward, I really needed to move on from that. And that's what I did. And I went on to, you know, leave Ohio at this point. I make my way back to Florida and truly have like no real intentions now at this point to come back. You know, I had ran my course there and just really wanted to go away and truly try the life in Florida and see what I could become. So then I decide to come back to Florida. Like I said, when I first get back, pretty much get a job right away, get signed up for school right away. I'm working as a pharmacy technician in Lakeland Regional Medical Center at the hospital there, doing early mornings, like I want to say like, you know, 5:30 in the morning. Had to be there, you know, prepping all the medicines for everyone and taking them to the floors and putting them in the cabinets and having everything ready so that, you know, when these people started getting up and their meds were needed, I had to make sure that everything was stocked for, you know, I mean, their nurses and their doctors. And so that's what I did. And I enjoyed that and was having fun with that. Was going to school, was doing okay with that. Kind of was just really like socially bored. Wasn't doing anything outside of work and school. Wasn't really talking with anyone, wasn't friending up with anyone. By this time I was already like, I want to say 24, 25 years old. So I was a lot older than some of the kids I was going to college with, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't trying to, like, you know, hang out with 19 and 20-year-olds. So I end up just working and going to school. And then a friend of mine, a close friend of mine, childhood friend of mine, his father passes away, J.R. Keim and the Keim family. Much respect to you, Mr. Russ. You know, Coach Russ was an awesome guy. And, you know, totally appreciate the Keim family and everything they did for us. And, you know, we still try to keep in contact with them because there's much respect there. And, I went to that funeral and happened to run into an old friend of mine from when we were growing up who used to live like right behind the Keims, Jimmy Ray. Jimmy Ray was a funny character and still is super funny. If you know Jimmy, I know, you know, Jimmy's out there and Jimmy's an awesome dude. Very, you know, charismatic and passionate and awesome guy. So, I ran into Jimmy and just kind of started to try to get back into the social scene of things. Was going some places with him. And one night he gave me a call and said that a buddy of his from softball was opening up a sports bar, and he wanted to have some people in for a grand opening, and there was really no charge for anything. He wasn't going to charge. He was going to put food out and free beers and stuff, because it was mainly going to be, I want to say, beer and wine at this time, because that's what it all started off as, was just a beer and wine place. And so we were like, yeah, I thought that was super cool. I was like, yeah, we'll go support them. I mean, all we got to do is take some tip money for the bartenders and, make sure that they're taken care of, because they're just going to be running around all night, and, nobody's got tabs. So just take care of them for the night. And I thought that was, good to go. At this time leading up to this, and I gotta now take a step back, because when I first get back to Florida, like my first day back, I don't have a car. I don't have any of these things, you know what I'm saying, yet. So I have to like borrow my mom's car. And the first day I'm taking her to work, on 2 days after I've been home, she mentions to me that she's got a great young lady for me to meet at work. And I'm like, Mom, I just got home. Like, please, I'm not ready for that just yet. So now, fast forward to, a couple months later, I'm now working. I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing pretty well. I got my own car. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that is going in the right direction. Sign up for school, taking care of business, and happened to go to see my mom at work after I get out of work one day. And I walk in, and I remember walking by this young lady and just looking at her and being like, wow. And I ask her right away, I'm like, hey, have you seen Margie Gonzalez? And she's like, oh, she's around somewhere. I think you can go check back in her office. So I go and check back in her office, and I come walking out. And I tell my mom, I'm like, oh, this young lady is the one who told me to go back and wait for you. And she's like, oh, no, that's cool. She was like, Tony, this is Ashley Harrison. And I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. And I shake her hands. And I remember thinking at this time, like, this girl had this big, beautiful blue eyes. And I was like, wow, like, look at those eyes. Like, and I remember thinking at that time, like, it would be cool to have children with a chick like this. I'm like, and the beautiful babies we would make from, my genes and her genes, and just what would happen. And, but it's like one of those first sight kind of things. It was super funny at the time, because I've told her the story and she laughs about it now. And she's like, yeah, whatever, dude. And, that was our relationship back then. And that's still our relationship now. We're super funny with each other. She's definitely the yin to my yang, because I know I can be crazy sometimes. She's super chill. So she kind of brings me back down to earth. And yeah, that was how she and I met. And there was really no words exchanged there at this time. Just, hey, nice to meet you. Like I said, all those thoughts about the cool eyes were in my mind. A guy just being a guy and checking a girl out, and so that was what that was. And then now fast forward to my buddy and I going to the sports bar on opening night. And I happened to go out and tell my mom, like, hey, I'm going to go out with Jimmy Ray tonight. We're going to his buddy's sports bars opening up. And they're going to have a grand opening tonight. So is that cool? And she was like, yeah, that's cool. She goes, as a matter of fact, that's kind of funny. She goes, because Ashley was saying at work today that she's opening up a new sports bar like this. She's going to be one of the bartenders at this new sports bar opening up tonight. And I was like, that's ironic. I'm like, how many places are opening up tonight? And I'm thinking, like, I know who she is. So I'm like, I'll go up and talk to her. Like, she seems cool. Like, so, my mom's like, yeah, for real, tell her who you are. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And end up going there with the buddy and hanging out. And sure as can be, she's one of the bartenders there. And I eventually throughout the night make my way over to her and just kind of, chit chat with her. And she's like, I kind of know you, but I don't know where I know you from. And I'm like, I'm Margie Gonzalez's son from over at Publix. And she was like, oh, I remember you now. Like, and we started laughing and, talk a little bit about moms, and pretty much are like, hey, we'll see you around. And she's like, yeah, I'll see you around. And it was cool that night. And I ended up starting to frequent this bar at this time because I really enjoyed the place. The place was an awesome place, and much shout out to Winter Circle Sports Bar in Lakeland, Florida, because this was the beginning of it, and this was the start of what Bill, his brainchild, was to what it is today. And it's blown up so much to what it is today. And, super proud of those guys and much respect for them, because I knew the direction he was trying to take it into. He wasn't just trying to have, like a scummy sports bar. He's got a pretty stand-up sports bar. They're involved with the community and do a lot of things to help raise money. And, he's always been an awesome guy, always gets some cool get-togethers and has people travel and go to sporting events, and has always been that kind of guy to just try to, include you into anything too that he was doing. If you want to join in, come on, let's go. And he's down with it. And he's one of those guys. And I gotta have Bill on, because I had Bill on a previous show. And when I was first starting this show out, Bill got COVID and was really sick and was really doing well, but he's back on his feet now, and working his things out at the bar and trying to get through this COVID, because he took a big hit. They're just one solo place, and I mean, luckily for them, they've got a lot of supporters now, being there 18, 19 years now. And because I want to say he started that in 02, 03, maybe like late 02. So almost 19 years now, that place has been going strong. So much cheers to Winter Circle Sports Bar. Cheers to Bill Alcock, the Alcocks, TJ, Brooke. Much love and respect for you guys and all the people that frequent that place. Keep doing it, man. Your support really matters for places like that. Those local businesses really need you guys, and people like Bill, they appreciate it. So yeah, I started to then frequent the bar quite often, and I was there so much they were like, "Dude, why don't you just, bounce here a couple nights a week, like Friday and Saturday night? You can run the door, check IDs, whatever." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool, So I would do it for them on Friday and Saturday nights, and then we started getting DJs in there, and it really started getting packed, and we were able to kind of, work it to where he was having big crowds there almost every night. I wasn't working every night, like at the door every single night. So there were some times when things were getting a little hairy, a little chippy. And, we tried to keep that to a minimum as much as we could. We knew certain people couldn't be doing what they were doing, so they would know from us just being cool with them that they needed to kind of leave the property and take care of business. And if they wanted to come back and chill after they were done doing what they needed to, that was fine. But they couldn't really do it where we were at. And a lot of people understood that, and were cool about that. And, and that's why I think that we were able to have as much fun as we did. Did some things there, bounced, started bartending there for a little bit. I can't say I cooked there because I would never cook there. Their kitchen was crazy. Like, they would get so many food orders a night because he still has these killer wings. So it's like, that kitchen was crazy. I never tried to offer myself up to the kitchen. But yeah, would do that. Would DJ, love DJing, loved just being around for all the parties that they would have going on. And just found myself around that situation a lot, and ended up doing it so much that I stopped going to school, kind of started being there like full time between all the little gigs I was doing, left the hospital, really wasn't trying to do that early morning anymore because I was working till 2:33 in the morning and coming home and going to sleep for an hour and a half and getting up and having to be at work by 5:30. It just wasn't working. And I was making good, easy money there, and was having fun, and was working with all those people, and those people were also cool. Like I said, I had met so many people through them. I talked about the Alcocks. The Alcocks are awesome. Was really working closely with Ashley, Fox, who is now Light. She was there with us. She was awesome to work with because she was super funny, super cool. Still is. Teresa was there. Like so many people. Scotty, I'm talking about this sports bar in Lakeland, Florida, out there that was called Winter Circle, and but it was a really cool place, and finally, I guess you would say, after like 6 months of being there, we were coming up on the Super Bowl, and back then it was the 02-03 season, I want to say, I want to say it was the 02-03 season because the Tampa Bay Bucks ended up being in it, and we end up doing a huge Super Bowl party. I talked about it on TJ show. And we were sitting there and able to he did all these cool beer drinks, like beer, specials that night. And it was like quarter beers every time they scored. And I mean, people were running up there with like $2 grabbing like 8 beers. And, before we'd score again and, a couple more bucks again. And before people are just throwing 10s and 20s out and not even, caring to have a drink back there. Like, I don't even care about the drink. Just here's more money. Here's more money. And we had so much fun that night. And Ashley and I were really like hitting it off that night. Had some fun. Soon after that, we had made a plan to kind of hang out. I missed that time and kind of did it in somewhat gameplay, and thought it would be funny, and she thought it was funny too. Like, I know you just didn't do that. And I had at that time, and it was fun. It was funny. And it was all about, the way she and I joked with each other about things. And so our first real like hangout, like where it was just like we went there together and we're just kind of hanging out, was at Gasparilla of that same year, which was like a week after the Bucks had won the Super Bowl. And went out there with a big group of people, but she and I were kind of like talking like exclusively now at this point, but it was still like behind the scenes kind of thing. And hung out that day, had a great day, and then had kind of then hung out for a couple weeks straight. Saw that we were starting to have a lot of feelings for each other, weren't sure where we were going to go with it. So we decided to take a break from each other for a little bit. Like, let's slow down. Let's try to figure it out. And did for like a week, I think, and then ended up seeing each other, talked about how much we missed seeing each other and talking to each other all the time. And from that point on, then we're together ever since. And that was, 18 years ago, back in 03, that she and I decided to be exclusive and stay that way ever since. And so we kind of then were together at that point. I was then still working at the bar. She was working at the bar. Then we kind of left and we're working at the hotel as well. So we were working like very minimal at the bar, but then started working at the local hotel there. She was going to school for hospitality management. So she wanted to get that hotel, like hotel hospitality management. She wanted to get that hotel experience under her belt. And, I was working in the catering department because they needed some help at that time. And I happened to take to catering very well and enjoyed it. Enjoyed putting rooms together and seeing people enjoy themselves at parties and just, seeing conventions go on and all these people are here and you're feeding and taking care. I mean, and it was such an experience that I was like, I enjoy this. Like, I like this. I really want to do this, So I started to really make something of it. And the main banquet director there, Sherman, was the main man there, and he kind of would put me over top of everything, like all the setups, and you know what I'm saying, making sure all the everything was set up, like from the buffets to the classrooms to the like I said, to the meetings, boardrooms, everything. Like nobody oh, no telecommunications anymore. Yeah. I know you're into a whole different engineering now, Kevin. Kevin Waters. What's up, Poppy? I love you, man. Appreciate you, dude. Yeah, you were at that engineering office. You're still engineering, man. That's awesome, dude. I want to say you're in Palm Bay, Florida now, right, man? I think you're out there by my parents. My parents live out there. I got to come see you sometime. We got to get back together and talk about some old times, man. Laugh and crack up, buddy. Appreciate you, Kevin. And so working at the hotel, doing catering. Was enjoying it. Like I said, was looking to get married, and yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you were in Palm Bay. Like I said, we got to get together. My parents are out there, and my sister's out there. So next time I come out that way, I'm gonna hit you up. And yeah, so doing the catering, about to get married at this time, and we're like probably more than a year out from that situation, kind of, because of the fact that my parents end up leaving the area. Ashley and I end up then having to move in together at this point. And when we did that at that time, it really wasn't, it was kind of frowned upon at that time by her family. Her family was not excited about that idea. Thought that we needed to wait, you know what I mean? And I understood that, they didn't understand the situation of how it had to be, and kind of went for a while and didn't really, explain the situation. And then when I, knew that I was going to ask for Ashley's hand in marriage, because at this point we had been together, a year and a half, 2 years almost, and knew that I was going to ask for her hand in marriage because that was what I wanted to do. Called her mom, and asked if I could come speak with her, and she politely said yes, and I appreciated her for doing so. And I came over with a little bouquet of flowers for her, and sat down and talked with her and her husband, and Miss Gail and Mr. Bob were skeptical about this situation at that time, and really wanted to know what my intentions were with their daughter, and wanted to know that I was going to try to do whatever it was that I could to provide for her, because she deserved the best. And I sat there and talked with them for a while, and told them, the situation on how, things were the way they were and why they were that way. And I told them that I would do anything that I could to take care of her and make sure that, she was well provided for. And, they understood and they believed me then at that point, and thought that it was pretty stand up of me to make that first move, to come to them and kind of, tell them and explain to them what it was that was going on at that time, and let them know, so that they were, just in on why the situation went down the way it did. And like I said, they respected that. They respected the fact that I called and came over there and did that. And they were willing then to let me ask for her hand in marriage at that point. So later that week, we ended up coming back to her parents' house for her birthday. And it was for a dinner that night. And at this point, she doesn't know still that I had done any of this, that I had gone and talked to them, and things were cool between. I can't say cool, but things weren't as bad as she thought they were. Scotty's such a gentleman, I know. And I don't think she didn't know that things were in a better place, because they knew a little bit more about what was going on than before. And we went there, and things were quiet, and we didn't say much, and I had talked to her and, throughout the time, and, she was a little nervous for that night, and we went there and things were fine, and nobody made any drastic things happen. And we went back that night, and yeah, later that night, I ended up asking for her hand in marriage, and I told her about what all had happened and what had transpired, and she was, excited and appreciated it too, that I was stand up enough to still go and do that, and because she knew that what we knew about the situation, but she knew that it also needed to be explained and still needed to be done the right way, so that her parents could have some closure onto our relationship as well, and kind of know a little bit more about me, the person, than what they had met prior, because they enjoyed my time prior. I was there for a lot of family functions and help with a lot of things. And then, like I said, this situation came up, and they didn't care for it at that time, but they understood, and I appreciate them for taking that time to hear me out. So then when we were getting closer to the wedding, Ashley was still going to school, trying to finish up school, ended up, finishing school right before the end of May. And we ended up getting married at the end of May. Like, she literally got her hospitality degree from Florida Southern a week before we got married. And that's what was, I think, that was a classic move for sure. I appreciate you, Scotty, man. I appreciate you jumping in. That's my boy Chokeface, man. And for those of y'all that don't know, that dude was so cool with me hanging out when we were younger, man. When I was young, man, like, taught me how to play a couple of riffs on a bass guitar, and had a good time with that guy. I love that guy. I love him. And, I remember your old cat, Mojo, man. That was our buddy, man. Appreciate you, Scotty. And so like I said, she ended up getting her degree in hospitality, and then a week later we got married, and then went and did our honeymoon in Vegas. Never been back since. It was kind of funny, but enjoyed Vegas. Love Vegas. It was larger than life kind of thing. Got to go to some cool shows. Went to go see George Carlin on our last night there, and it was right before he was taping his last. And that's why he was taping. He was getting ready to tape his last HBO special for HBO. It was like, I want to say like number 21 or something like that. He had done a lot of specials then by this point, and it was an awesome show. Ashley and I had a great time. Came back home, and then really just kind of wanted to try to figure out what we were going to do now at this point. What could we do to better ourselves? I really wasn't making great money at this time, and neither was she. We were both now exclusively working just at the hotel, trying to make something out of that. We weren't working at Winter Circle anymore by this point. And a couple months after that, she gets a phone call on a monster resume that she has online from a resort out on Longboat Key. And that resort is the Colony Beach and Tennis Resort. Like I said, on Longboat Key, Florida. And it's nowhere close to Lakeland. Like, it's a good hour and a half probably from Lakeland, almost 2 hours for you to get out to the island if you're coming from that far out. And while in this conversation with the manager at the time, the manager's asking, like, you just recently got married. What does your husband do for a living? And she was like, well, my husband is in our catering department here. He's been, helping them take care of things for the last year and a half. And, and the manager's like, oh my God, we're looking for some captains in catering too. Like, can you bring them along with you? And she's like, sure. Yeah. Like, we can both come out there, and, we'll be out there whatever day you want. And she's like, come out here Saturday. So we come out on a Saturday, drive out there. Love the place. Super, super old Florida style, but huge property. Real happy to be out there, kind of go out there. I interview first with the restaurant. She goes inside and interviews with the hotel. I interview with a gentleman, John. John was there at the time. Tell him, pretty much, I know how to do all these setups. I can help you run the business, whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? I can do audio, visual, whatever. And he's like, I love it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? He's so happy that he's through the roof with it. And goes on to pretty much hire me on the spot. Like I literally, I interviewed, she interviewed, we left the property, and I wasn't even maybe a mile down the road on Gulf of Mexico Drive there. And he calls me like, hey, he's like, we'd like to offer you. And I'm like, for real? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I don't know how far you are right now, but if you can come back and, pick up paperwork, he's like, we'll bring you back on right now. Like, he's like, we'll hire you right now. Like, we'll get the process going. And I was like, okay, we knew with her situation, she had to wait to interview with the other new manager they had coming in. So she had a couple of days to wait. So what we did was I came back, picked up my paperwork, went home, took it, filled it out, and then came back. And when I came back to drop off my paperwork, she came in for her second interview. And we ended up getting hired there and starting on the same day there in September of 2005. We were at, like I said, we joined the Colony Beach and Tennis Resort. And we were there for 4 years. We were there until September of 2009. But I'm not going to tell the whole story of that because of the fact that now at this time in 2005, I am 28 years old, and I won't get into the full story of the Colony Beach and Tennis Resort. But at that time, she and I first get there, and we're working out there, and she's growing in the hotel side of things. She's moved up from front desk to front desk supervisor, and then she's back over the call center, and then she's running the call center, and all of a sudden she then works her way up to becoming the I don't even know what to call it then at that time. It was like guest services manager, I guess she was what you would want to say at that time, because she was over the front desk, the call center, concierge, the valets, like all reported to her then at this time. And I had worked my way up from being the banquet captain at the time to like the senior banquet captain, because John had moved into sales. And so I was the senior banquet captain at the time. And during the off seasons, I would pick up some hours helping the purchasing department, because of the fact that, my wife was there and they knew that we were two young, hardworking kids for them and had been doing this for, a while now. They wanted to help us continue to succeed. So they would offer me hours in the summertime to supplement, that pay working in the purchasing department. And what I would do is, I would receive shipments in and mark them down and check and make sure we got everything and bring them in and load them in the shelves. And if we needed to ship things out, I would get them ready. And we had a little UPS hub there and a FedEx hub there. And, we'd take in shipments and we'd ship out stuff. And I would pretty much do all the filing for him and all the coding. Like I would code everything to all the departments and have it all ready for him on who was getting charged for what and how much they were being charged, and had it coded so that all he had to do was pass it to the accounting department. I was doing the filing, so I had all that stuff taken care of. I don't know which hat that is, Scotty. I don't know which hat I got of yours. I got so many hats, dude. The number one dad hat. Oh, that's cool, man. But yeah, so I had learned throughout the summertime, and would do it for them for a couple of years. And because of the fact that I learned it, then by the age of I was getting ready to turn 30 then at this point. And the guy who was the purchasing director at the time was going to leave the property, and he had decided that he didn't want to be there any longer. He wanted to do somewhere he could work at home and still kind of do the same job, but do it out of the comfort of his own home, which was a great idea for him. And so they, because of the fact that I had learned so much in those 2 years prior in the summer times, they wanted to offer me the position and see if I wanted to crack at it first and kind of give somebody in-house the opportunity. So I didn't take it right away. I kind of wanted to talk with my wife first about it, and just kind of pick her brain on what she thought we should do at this point. I knew it was a great opportunity for us because of the fact that we were, she's only 25 at this time, 26 at this time, and I'm about to be 30, and she's managing over her department. I was going to be a manager over another department, and would still be able to work at the same place, making pretty good money for two young kids then at this time. And knew that it was an opportunity then for us to be able to keep moving forward the way we had been doing ever since we had gotten married, which was huge. And so that was what I did. I ended up taking it. Was kind of happy that I did because of the fact that, like I said, it was able to put me up to where I needed to be. I was happy that I was, had a career now at this point. I was just getting ready to turn, like I said, 30 years old, and enjoyed it, but also enjoyed the 2 years prior to that. Like, I was able to, while in the catering department for the colony, work some cool parties, worked the stone crab festivals, worked a couple private parties. I would go up to the owner of the resort suite and work a couple of little private parties for him with, dinner for him and the priest of Notre Dame, and, other folks would come over, and had a chance to work a private luncheon with Edward Norton, and got a chance to meet, Tommy Chong, and the Browns all-time great Jim Brown came out there, and he spoke, and had a chance to meet him that weekend too. And it was that was a really cool time too, leading up to the new position. So it was like I respected the colony for what it was able to do for me at that point. Enjoyed it, was so happy that I had that time in my life, because it helped to kind of broaden me for the future and kind of get me ready for what was yet to come. And so I was like, I totally appreciated that. Like I said, it led me to kind of getting a career, and I appreciated them for that. And like I said, I'll continue on. It's like, at this point I had just turned 30, and I had worked my way up to not only get married, but also I had worked my way into a company to run my own department. I had achieved so much in this 10-year span, from the time I was 20 to the time I was 30. There was so much growth there for me, the person, from what I had started off at, like I said, when I was 20 years old, really no direction in my life, not really having no set rules on what I needed to abide by. And I think by this time, I knew that I was moving in the right direction, and things were going better. I was getting ready to get myself signed back up for school. Like I said, was working a career, and so that was what kind of how it all happened from the 20s and 30s in the life of the business. I kind of wanted to just be able to open up to you guys always about what it is that I've been through. I know when I do interviews on here of other guests, I try to bring to life their lives and careers. And I'm only able to do that within, an hour and a half span of however much time I have with them, and able to bring to light some of the things that they've gone through. I'm lucky enough to have this format to where I'm able to slow mine down a little bit and give you guys more of the real breakdown of what it is that, I went through in my life and just kind of tell you a little bit more about me. But like I said, luckily enough, I'm able to have this platform to do so. And I'm, taking it and appreciating it and not trying to take it for granted, because I know that, it's not every day that people get to tell their story. And a lot of us out there wish that we could. And for those of you that, want to get onto a platform or even start your own platform, give me a call, man. Let's talk about it, because that's truly what I'm trying to help people out to do is, like I said, get on here and then if you want to get your own thing going, and we can all get into this. Everybody's got a format. Everybody's got something that they could talk about that people can click with, and people can, look back on and say, hey, I saw this guy, I saw this, I was there at this point, I wasn't there at this point, but I'm glad that he's opening up about this. And there's other things. There's so many different industries that can be tapped into this platform that I have available here, that, the sky's the limit for anyone. And I just want people to know that, when you think that your story needs to be told, get out there and tell it, man. Like, because people are going to listen to it. Like I said, not all of us go through the same things. And, that's what's important, is just by getting out there and supporting each other and everything that we do. I know that, I don't promote my stuff enough probably for everyone, because of the fact that I'm not splashing it in front of you every 10 seconds. And that's just not me. I'll probably find somebody someday, a marketing guy, who will do that for me. But as of right now, it's just me. And like I said, I'm just not trying to, beat you guys up with too much the business paraphernalia. I just like to get on and talk and have fun with people, and I'm enjoying doing it. So, if you guys ever get a chance, go to my Instagram at The Business Let's Be Real. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel, Let's Be Real. I've only got a couple subscribers because, like I said, I don't promote so much. And if anything, you can always find me at Tony Gonzalez on Facebook.com, So check it out. Hit me up anytime you guys want to do so. I'll always be there to listen. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get my quote of the night, and I'm going to wrap it up for you guys. My quote of the night is, if you're not willing to learn, no one can help you. If you are determined to learn, no one can stop you. Remember that always, because when you're trying to be out there and you're trying to learn, there's always somebody that can help you. But if you don't want to learn it, they're all going to walk away. Keep your head up, keep pushing strong. But for now, The Business, Let's Be Real, episode 24, over.